Hello and welcome to the Safe Space ASMR podcast, where we talk about all things spirituality, personal development, and so much more. Here we align the mind, body, and the spirit to live our most authentic lives. Sometimes we whisper, sometimes we soft speak, but every time we grow, expand, and relax. So pause this audio, pause this video wherever you're listening, go grab a drink. I have a Celsius and I have yet to make like boba and like some teas. I mean, I made a couple teas on some episodes, but we have a Celsius because this is what I'm drinking right now. So let me take a sip and then let's dive into episode 12, where we're going to talk about comparing yourself. Okay. Alright, we're still doing every other episode, soft speaking and whispering. I asked if you all prefer whispering and soft spoken, but I mean, I think most said whispering, but we are still gonna soft speak because some also said the interchanging of the whispering and the soft speaking. And today I'm gonna be talking about comparing yourself. I hope you don't mind the soft speaking with this episode. I always think, do you with topics that you really want to hear about, but you wish it was whispering? I feel bad and I'm sorry, but anyway, let's talk about comparing yourself. So this is something that recently I have been struggling with within the past, not just recently, all my life. It is the thief of self-love, thief of joy, and that's actually a quote, that comparison is the thief of joy, right? You feel happy about something that you did or something about yourself, then all of a sudden you look at someone else having more, or already having it, or in quicker time, or just being better, looking better, and then you just feel like crap about yourself, as if your accomplishment or milestone just got canceled. And I have experienced this all my life, actually. I think most people compare themselves. I would say maybe everyone. This is something that is very natural, like within our ego, because our ego, which you can go look at episode 2, where I talk about how your thoughts are not you, and I talk about the ego, and the ego is here to keep you alive, right? And not alive, it's outdated. Not alive in the sense of physically alive, although yes, it is here to keep us physically alive, but it's a little bit outdated. Its aliveness is also alive within your pride about yourself, within your, you don't want to get humiliated or embarrassed, or, if someone starts saying the opposite of what you believe in, you might have some fight or flight response. Your ego wants to be right. It wants to be the first, best. It wants to be it wants to be it. It thinks it's the only one. And so when we look at other people that have more, we kind of go into this competitive mode. If you think back to the caveman days and those days, it was survival of the fittest, right? So the caveman went out to go hunt for some food, and if it sees a other caveman that's bigger, it has more muscles, it thinks that caveman, it's in competition of who's going to get the food. So that caveman looks stronger, looks more fit, therefore it might get the food. Or within mating, the mating process back then. Am I talking about bugs or animals? It's outdated within the sense of nowadays it's not to keep you alive, but it's to be the first, be the best, be this, have more, do more, be more. And so we look at other people and we focus on what they have, and we feel as if we should have it, or we feel inferior in a way that makes our ego upset and sad, and therefore makes us struggle with things like worthiness, because there's always someone better, doing better, having more, looking better, XYZ, the list goes on. It really is the ego. It all comes down to the ego and those thoughts, right? So I really recommend, if you haven't, to go look at episode 2, where I talk about the thoughts not being you, the ego, all diving into that in the subconscious mind, because that really, it stems back to that. So that is the root of it. But let's talk more about like how to, get rid of this, because like we can change the mind. We can turn our focus into other places, and it is possible to celebrate your successes without, taking that joy away by just simply by looking at someone else. So going back to me, because it's all about me. I'm kidding. But going back to like my story, my example, and the way that I struggle with this is, number one, just all my life I have struggled with this. I'll eventually make an episode on like my spiritual awakening, my self-love journey, but I have struggled with comparing myself all my life. My biggest tikkun, which is tikkun is in Kabbalah, which is a spiritual mysticism, ancient wisdom. And why am I tapping right now? I feel like this is an ASMR video, ASMR ramble. But in Kabbalah, it talks about we all have tikkuns, which the tikkun is the soul's correction. They say like tikkun, but it's the soul's correction. So what your soul came here to do. And we all struggle with like a handful of things. My tikkun is, I know it's self-love. Feeling worthy, feeling deserving. I struggle with people pleasing, trying to prove my worth. And with that, when I was younger, I would compare myself to people that looked prettier, had more. I wanted to fit in, so I would look at other people that fit in and think, oh, I don't have this, I don't look like that. And I would feel these insecure and inferior feelings constantly. Like, I think all my life I went with this underlying emotion of feeling inferior, and to this day I still struggle with it. It's something that I'm reframing, working on, healing, and I'm for sure healing a lot. I'm not perfect. I think things always come up. I don't know, that may be belief, but these things come up often for me, of like feeling inferior when I see someone that has like more, and then I just like feel insecure or something, etc. And I don't mean like more as in like more money, more followers, but also like just like looking better or having a good head on their shoulders. Like, I look up to them in inspiration, but I also, in those moments of low energy, you begin to have instead of inspiration, it's like, oh, I am not worthy of this, or I'm ugly, or I'm this. And it really takes away all your accomplishments and your worthiness, your sense of self, and your love that you do have for yourself, or things you're excited about the moment you turn your head. All of that goes away in comparison. So recently I've been noticing myself like either comparing, thinking that I should have this, or I draw ideas from other people. And this isn't really in the sense of comparing, but I like, in a way, the underlying thing is I think people have great ideas for content, for example. So I go to other people to see what they're doing so that I can like do it or draw inspiration. But at the same time, recently it's been more like, you're doing really good, like, oh, I should be doing better, or just looking at other people constantly, consuming the world. And nowadays it's so easy to compare because it's so easy to access other people's lives. You go on, you grab your phone, and there it is. You see everyone's highlights of their life, which we'll talk about. But I went on this like consumption diet where I stopped consuming. I got off of social media, I journaled, and I wrote down like my intentions for this was to, instead, when I want to go on social media, I'm gonna entertain myself with creating or cleaning or doing a habit that I want to do. Instead, when I want to listen to others' voices, I'm gonna meditate. Instead, when I want to like scroll on social media and like consume content from other people, I'm going to listen to music. And I went in this little consumption fast, I guess, like, where I just stopped consuming for a couple days. And I felt, first of all, so much better, because we kind of give our energy away constantly to other people, and we push it away anytime we look at someone else, because we're focusing constantly outwardly, what do they have? What are they doing? What are they saying? What is the world? Like, we push our energy outside of us. And I think to stop comparing yourself, it is necessary to do a little consumption fast where you stop consuming, because I think that is how people start comparing. But if you don't want to do that, let's talk about number one. The first thing you can do to stop comparing yourself. I wrote down everything good you do, every milestone you originally are proud of strips away the moment you turn your head. And I've noticed this with myself this month also. I'm going to say this and then we'll go to number one, but I do want to say, like, this month for me financially has been one of my best months. But it's not a lot compared to the world. Like, it's not a lot compared to a livable income. It's like, to the outside world, they would think, oh, good job. Like, that's nothing. But to me, when I focus on me and I'm with my own self, I am so excited about what I did financially this month, and I feel good about it. It's the most I've ever made in a month. But the moment I look at someone else and what they're making, and this is what happened, I just like noticed what someone else was making, and I felt like, all right, I need to do more. I need to make more. That wasn't good. It's not a good month because it's actually very little. The moment I turned my head at what the world's making and what's a livable income, it makes me feel small. Although originally I felt so excited and proud because I've never made this much in a month. And to me, it's a lot. To me, it's enough. To me, I'm excited. And it's stripped away in a moment of looking at someone else. But it doesn't take away the fact that, to me, in my experience, this is a lot to me. Well, I don't even know what it was. It was like, I'm not even going to say what it was. But the point is it is a milestone within me. It is a milestone. It is an accomplishment. But when I looked at what other people were doing, it took away that milestone. And this is the art of constantly chasing external things, of always wanting more and never being fulfilled and satisfied. Why do we have this feeling? Because we are looking at what other people are experiencing, doing, making, and it makes us feel small, even if in a moment we feel proud of ourselves. And it's a really sad cycle, because, and I just want to reassure you that your milestones and what's big to you and your accomplishments and who you are and what you're doing is enough. And the problem is you won't believe that because you're looking at the world and what they're doing. So anyway, it's a sad thing. Let's stop doing it by starting with number one, transmutation. I'm probably going to make a whole episode on this. I read a book called The Kabbalion. I didn't finish it because I struggle with finishing books. That's like my one thing I'm trying to get back on the habit of, or get back on. I've never really had the habit of like reading every day, but the Kabbalion is like there's like 7 hermetic principles, 7 hermetic laws. And the one is like transmutation. So what it talks about is all is one emotion. Hate or love is one emotion. We think that hate and love are 2 separate things. Like and dislike are 2 separate things, not attached. They're its own entity. So when we are in hate, we can't get out of it. Or when we're in love, we can't get out of it and hate doesn't exist. We think that it's 2 separate. Therefore, when we have this like jealousy, it's all emotion. But I think everything comes down to, every emotion is like a sub-emotion of either love or hate. Like everything is love. Everything is love, actually. That's like the one true essence. But everything, the byproduct of love, also we have sub-emotions, which can be hate. But it's not a separate entity. It's a degree of one thing. So all emotions, let's look at it like this. So if you're on YouTube, Actually, I don't think you need a visual for this, but it's easier for me to picture a visual. So I have like one line, and on this side, it's a circle with love, and then this side is a circle with hate. I thought to myself, and it really clicked in my head when I thought about this, at what point do you like and dislike something? At what point is a dislike, and at what point do you like something? And I thought about this, like, is there an in-between? Is there a medium? And if there is a medium between liking something or disliking something, then like and dislike must not be two separate, because there's no black and white. There's no either you like or you dislike completely, because there has to be some level of an in-between where you decide if you like something. Let's say this Celsius, I'm going to take a sip real quick. Let's say this is like a very easy, simple, just a basic, reference, but this Celsius, for example, let's say like I can't tell whether I like or dislike it. So it's like I like it, but then there's like some level of dislike within the flavor. Like and dislike, it's not either whether I like or dislike it completely. There's an in-between, which shows that, I'm not explaining this as good as the Kabbalion did, but it shows that like and dislike are just one, you turn up the degree a little bit and you like something, or you turn it down a little bit and you dislike something. You move it more down and you really dislike, or you move it more down and you hate it, or you move that degree up to the level of like and then move it a little bit up to the level of really like or love. Dislike and like is not two separate, just as much as love and hate. It's just a different degree of emotion. It's not a black and white, one thing or the other. It's like a degree. So a levelness, like a line, I picture it as this. It's a line, and up here is a high vibration of love. Down here is a low vibration of hate. And it's not like you can't use certain energies. Just like when people feel angry or frustrated, they go to the gym to release that steam, to turn that emotion into motivation, to turn that emotion of insecurity. They work out or they dance to like really move that energy and make it into like a motivation. Like we get motivated out of our pain. It's because we turn that low level of like hate and we turned it up to inspiration. We turned it up to motivate us into a better emotion. So emotions are, and everything is, certain degrees of one thing, that one true thing being love. When we compare ourselves, and I'll give my example. I compare myself to Fernanda Ramirez. I was in my room one night. I felt good. I felt great. I love my room. I love my decorations. I love everything about it. And then I was watching Fernanda Ramirez. So pretty. She has the most aesthetic apartment. She's probably making a lot of money. She's traveling, her YouTube channel grew so fast. And I was watching her starting to feel insecure and low about myself. I was having thoughts like, oh, I think I have a good room, my decorations, like I just put things together. Look at her stuff, like hers is so good. I think I have this. No, like she is thriving, and all of a sudden I felt really low. Like not too many times does that happen to me, but I think it was a lesson because I was reading the Kabbalion at the time. I think this was meant to happen to like really teach me how to transmute energies. So I was feeling like not necessarily just jealous, but like just feeling like, wow, what do I think I have? Like I have nothing. Like she is thriving, beautiful. Her apartment, I wish I could, but I can't afford it. Like just like everything. I was feeling low, okay? And just like I hate my style, I hate this, and just frustrated a little bit because someone here has so much, and who do I think I am? And so I was like in an energy, a low energy. I felt my energy get pushed out of me, and I felt low, drained, because I gave my energy to someone else. She has the power, pedestal. So I pushed my energy outwards, and I felt that low negative emotion. And I thought to myself, okay, because I was reading the Kabbalah, and I was like, let's work on transmuting this energy. Let's push my energy back up. Let's raise the degree. And how are we going to do this? Instead of jealousy, I have a whole life. I'm youthful. I have a blank slate right in front of me. I started looking at things that I am grateful for about my life and what I can do to, feel more proud of what I'm doing, because at the end of the day, everything's a mirror. So what if someone's reflecting back at you, it's not her fault that I feel low about my life. Like, she's just living her life and accomplishing things great, amazing, beautiful, but it's bringing up emotions in me of feeling insecure and inferior. It's not her fault. It's just I'm looking at the mirror in my life of what am I, lacking in. And it's not necessarily that I'm lacking in money or beauty. It's that I'm lacking in realizing that, I love my life. As in, like, find gratitude in your life, find things to be grateful for. It's not her fault for making me feel this way. It's like, where's my focus going? It was going towards what I don't have, and rather transmuting that energy. Okay, but this is what I do have. And if I stop comparing myself, a moment ago I loved my life. A moment ago I liked what I had. And who is to say that I can't be happy with what I have when someone else has it better, in quote. So instead of jealousy, I transmuted the energy into inspiration. Wow, I love her style. One day I'm going to make money, and, for right now, I'm grateful for what I have. I'm going to look at her as an inspiration for style, for fashion, for home aesthetics, growing my YouTube channel. And I transmuted jealousy and feeling low, and I brought that degree up into inspiration. Like, maybe one day I can have an amazing, beautiful apartment. Who's to say I can't? I'm worthy, I'm capable, I have so much potential, just like you. Transmute those beliefs and that inner story and that inner dialogue that you're not enough into you can do anything. And so the point is to crank up the degree of the one thing that being love. So when you feel low and you start comparing yourself, instead of jealousy, turn it into inspiration. Instead of anger, turn it into appreciation. Instead of what you don't have, turn into, okay, but what do I have? And, when I compare myself to not making a lot of money, although I didn't, in my eyes, make a lot of money, the moment I looked at someone else making more, I felt like, oh, I'm not making anything. But instead of like, okay, what don't I have that someone else has? What do I have? And comparing yourself to you and your past self, comparing yourself to how far you've come on this journey instead of someone else's journey. Everyone's on different timelines, which is like another thing I really want to emphasize is like, don't compare to the highlight of someone's life. Just because you see people doing good or having this or having that, you don't see their cocoon, the thing that they are deeply struggling with, or the thing that they lack in. You're only seeing the highlights. And this is with social media specifically, like, but not even just that. If you meet someone and they seem amazing, you don't really know. You don't know their thoughts at nighttime. You don't know their energy or their emotion. People put up a front on social media, as well as meeting people, this front of perfectionism as if they have it together. And yes, not to say that happy people are deeply struggling all the time. People can be happy and greatly fulfilled and accomplished and everything, but it's because in their timeline they've healed, they have transmuted. If anyone has success, I'm telling you, they have struggled. They have struggled with thoughts, with emotions, with situations that they had to deal with, but they dealt with it and they transmuted energies into motivation to push forward and move forward because they were motivated by their own independent vision, not the vision of other people, but the vision of themselves. And so they worked through it and they accomplished it. just like me and you, our struggles with comparing ourselves or overthinking or feeling like we don't have enough, those things in itself, if we just transmute that energy into motivation to push forward and to be grateful for what we do have, that's all a part of the journey. And comparing yourself is the absolute deep thief, I couldn't even think of the word, thief of joy. Like, your journey is completely different. Your timeline is completely different. I don't care if someone has more money, more success, more experiences, although it's planted inside you to have that desire. And let's say you look up to someone and they have all of this and you think they have all of this and you feel crap about yourself because what are you doing? So let's say you have that, but you also have that desire of wanting to travel or having X amount of money, or that desire is planted in you for a reason, because it's meant for you. I don't care if someone is doing it currently, within this moment. It doesn't mean that it takes away your ability to do that as well. Even if you might not be doing something in this moment that you are jealous of someone else and comparing yourself, or even if you don't have something in this moment that someone else has, it doesn't mean that it's not for you and it's too saturated and you can't have it. If it's planted inside you, it's for you. And instead of comparing, transmute it into inspiration, transmute it to work on yourself, transmute it to look at what you're grateful for, and energy flows where attention goes. If you look at other people and what they have and feel lack constantly because you're feeding into this idea that everyone has it better, everyone has more, you're not enough, you're not worthy. If you're feeding into that constantly, it's a constant cycle of feeling lack and also attracting lack, because you attract what your energy is. So when you feel grateful and fulfilled, and yes, you did make the most money this month, and even if it's not enough to the world, focus on recharging. I made a lot of money in my eyes, and I am so proud of myself, and it is a great, beautiful milestone. That energy attracts more. But when you look at someone else and think, oh, they have more, then you're putting yourself back into lack and repeating old patterns of attracting lack. That goes the same with everything in comparison. When you compare, you vibrate lower. So transmutation is the biggest one of them all. Transmuting energies, changing energies, redirecting your thoughts, redirecting your emotions. Like, just because someone has more, in quotes, it doesn't mean that they are more. Like, no, you are valuable, you are worthy, you deserve so much, you deserve your desires. Your desires are there for a reason, because they are meant for you. And yeah, someone else may have what you want. Doesn't mean you're not going to get it. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have that experience or that amount of money or look that way. You are and know and have enough as you are right now. And once you notice that, that's what charges up the emotions of attracting more. You can go listen to my Law of Attraction and Setting Intentions episode, which was episode 3, which talks about like manifesting consciously and intentionally in the law of attraction and attracting what you want. So go listen to that, because it ties in with this. But also know deeply that all journeys include different timelines. I listened to this Weekly Energy Boost, which is a podcast about Kabbalah, and they said that like some people might seem as if they get success so easily. It's because without it they wouldn't be able to work on their tikkun. All our journeys are so different. Like, some people get in relationships easy, find their relationships easy because they can't work on their tikkun without it. Their tikkun being their soul's correction, being like the biggest thing you struggle with, and some people need certain experiences in order to work on that. It doesn't mean that those things aren't for you. They are, but everyone's journey is so much different. And we're all looking at highlight reels. Like, you don't know what someone is struggling with. You would never know. You would never know. Some of the happiest people are the most depressed. Like, it doesn't matter the things you have or the things you acquire, the way that you look. That is so superficial in this deep, deep, deep world. You see what someone else may have, but it's the matter of how you feel. And the only way to feel good is to be grateful for what you have right now and to trust in the process, not the destination. There's no destination. You compare yourself to your own self, your own goals and milestones and accomplishments, and your own independent journey. That's how growth and acceleration of growth happens, not by they have this, so I'm falling behind, I'm slacking because they're this age and they have that. Like, no, it doesn't matter. That's illusion. All is illusion. Don't compare yourself to a highlight or a number or an age or where you think you should be, because it doesn't matter. That is just all. It's just a matter of how you feel. How do you feel? It doesn't matter your age or where you're at or what you look like. How do you feel? So what I want you to do is really practice transmuting energy. This also means redirecting thoughts. So when you see someone living the life that you want, instead of like, oh, I'm behind, I'm a piece of crap, I don't deserve this, I haven't done anything with my life, instead of having those thoughts, redirect it into, okay, they're doing it, so I can do it too. And I'm going to draw inspiration. Like, I'm going to write down my goals and all the things that I do want and all the things I can accomplish. And I'm going to focus on that. Getting excited about what you can create. Getting excited and charging up that emotion. And then focusing back on your strengths, what you have done, how far you've come. And this is not in the measure of how much money you have or how many followers you have. This is also in the measure of emotional growth, emotional, mental, spiritual. What have you done? Even if you just simple things, like if it's a lot to you, it's a lot. It's a lot, just like my money. Like, it's a little to other people, but to me it's a lot. And I'm going to stay in that emotion because that emotion is what's going to attract more. But for now, I am so grateful and excited for what I have made this month, right? So it doesn't matter if it's little to the world. No, if it's big to you, it's big, and celebrate it. And also practice gratitude. So focus on your strengths, focus on what you do have and the gratitude of what you do have, because it doesn't matter where you'll ever be. It matters how you'll feel. You don't want the experience. You don't want to look that way. You don't want that amount of money. What you really are asking for is, how will you feel when you get there? How will you feel in that experience? You want the feeling. You don't want the actual thing. How will you feel when you have this amount of money? It's about the emotion, the underlying thing. We look so illusion at like, oh, I want this amount of subscribers or I want this amount of money. No, it's because you want a certain feeling at that, which is a feeling that you can get right now by practicing gratitude, practicing being motivated by your vision, not other people, being motivated by comparing yourself to your past self and not other people. That's the only person. Compare yourself to yourself. How can I be better? I'm grateful for what I've accomplished, how far I've come. Focus on your strengths and celebrate others, because there you don't see their struggles, you see their highlights, you see illusion. When you go on your phone, it's illusion to make us feel small. So be motivated by others, celebrate them, feel excited for them, feel excited in the act of giving as well. As if, how would you feel if people gave certain things to you? And give and celebrate. And, even if this person has 1,000 million likes, like their video, like their thing, because it still is giving. Celebrate, the people of where you want to be. Celebrate the people that, just celebrate people. Because we're all on this journey and, we're all struggling with things. Just because you see someone that it might not look like it and they have everything you want, get motivated by it. Allow it to inspire you to work on yourself and be excited about your own milestones. All right. I hope this episode helped. I know I only talked about two things, transmutation and, everyone's journey being different, but it's all very important to deeply, deeply comprehend and know. And I just hope you know that happiness is not a destination. It's about how you decide to live in the process of your life process and only compare yourself to yourself. I'm proud of you. What you do is big, and I am so excited for your journey, as you should be with yourself, and let's celebrate each other. All right, I love you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in, for listening, for watching. Like this video, like this episode, leave a review if you resonate, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.